Leimovic in the mid-post area. Ryder very active in the game's first possession. Brown to beat the shot clock buzzer. That's a good defensive stand for the Bronx off the tap.
Well, talking to Coach Milligan before the game, she always holds something back for tournament time, and today she's ready to throw the kitchen sink out there.
Yeah, these two teams played on March 9th. Less than a week ago, Fairfield ran away with it 83-54 inside the Leo Mahoney Arena in Fairfield. Taylor Langen for an early three.
And during that game with Ryder, Michaela Fireball did not play that game. She sat out waiting for the tournament.
Here's Katie Lamoureux from long range. Don't be surprised to take Fairfield. They take quick shots. They're looking for the first green light look. And there Lamoureux just off the mark. No score as Ryder turns it over. That's one thing you cannot do against the Stags. Their entire identity designed to get more opportunities than the opposition. Giving away possession is something Lynn Milligan does not want to see her team do.
Well, that was just a miscommunication. Lynch wasn't ready for the ball, made a cut, ball went out of bounds.
Anderson on Mariana Cause.
And the Stags will be patient until they get the shots that they feel good about. And it can come from anybody on the floor.
Langen had hands on Amina Selimovic. Personal foul on Ryder's leading scorer and rebounder.
It'll be interesting to see how the officials call the game. Right now, it looks like they want to make sure they keep it a clean game.
Carly Thibault-Dudanis, the MAAC Coach of the Year.
And she's also on the mid-major National Coach of the Year list as well, and well-deserved.
Selimovic goes right back at Langen and scores the game's first two.
Well, she's such a versatile player. She can nail the three ball. She can go inside. She can cut to the basket. She can take it in the lane.
Yeah, she really typifies this Fairfield team. The hustle player, the glue player. As we look at the Jersey Mike's keys to the game. Diane, what are you watching out for?
Well, Ryder, they have to make sure they play possession basketball. One basket at a time, one possession at a time. Transition defense, because the Stags will run when they get the defensive rebound. If you're Fairfield, stick to your game plan. Stick to what brought you here, and you got to have balanced scoring.
I think transition defense is certainly the key. As good as the Stags are in the half court, they love to rip and run.
And even their forwards are called road runners, and that's for a reason.
And it's all part of this identity that Carly Thibault-Dudanis and her staff intentionally created for their team. Yeah, they don't have forwards, they have road runners. They're affectionately known as MEEPs. That is the identity of the post group for the Stags. Janelle Brown showing off her athleticism, blocking the Cause shot.
There's nothing that Janelle Brown cannot do on a basketball floor. Got a little ahead of herself there, but she will block a shot, she will take a shot, and she will facilitate a shot. Does it all.
The senior Brown has been incredible to watch this year. 13 points a game. It's 8th best in the MAAC. 4 boards, 3 dimes a night. 3rd in the circuit with 2.5 steals a game. She leads the league in shooting, 58% from the field, 21st in the nation. She is the most efficient guard in America.
And Coach Carly's not afraid to use her bench. She'll almost make hockey line changes. Expect to see 10, 11 people play in the first quarter.
Yeah, Brown is resting. Kendall Magruder is checked in, as has Isabella Nicoletti-Leite. Fairfield is so deep. Carly Thibault-Dudanis saying every time you speak to her, one of the reasons that they've been so good this year, that they've rattled off 26 in a row, is because when they go to the bench, there's no drop-off from the first unit.
No, there isn't. And the offense is run the same way for all of the players, so there's a comfortability out there.
This is Isa Nicoletti-Leite. Magruder for a straightaway three. Offensive board for Katie Lamoureux, and she's fouled by Cause.
And Lamoureux is deceiving. She's got a quick first step out here, and she does do a lot of the inside rebounding because she has such an uncanny ability to find the ball.
Lamoureux, an extremely talented freshman out of Endwell, New York, 10 points a game in 27 minutes a night. Kind of gets lost in the shuffle sometimes because of how deep Fairfield is.
Until you watch their game film, and then you can pick up all the things that she does out here.
So now Redmond racing her way to the basket. Offensive board for Cause, but she turns it over, and then Magruder is fouled by Redmond.
And that's the 3rd foul for the Ryder Bronx. They are aggressive on the defensive end but unfortunately are making that second defensive effort off balance.
Their pressure D has held Fairfield to just 1 of 5 shooting off the jump. But as has been the case with the Stags all year long, yes, the offense gets the accolades, but they're a rock-solid defensive team. They allow 54 points a game. It leads the MAAC. It's 5th best in the nation.
And that's a stat that does get overlooked when you talk about the Stags. And they are defensively sound, as you mentioned, and it's position by position. There are no weaknesses.
Mackenzie DeLiba into the ball game for the first time, a 5'11 senior from Dorchester, Mass. Megan Anderson to the basket.
And what a year Anderson has had. You know, the number 5, the freshman, has been on all of every team that you can imagine. And she just, night in, night out, looks like a junior as opposed to a freshman out here.
11 times this year, Anderson won MAAC Rookie of the Week. She's in rarefied air now, one of just 3 players to win Rookie of the Week honors 10 or more times. The other 2, both would go on to be League Players of the Year. We're talking about Iona's D'Amica Martinez and Maris Rachel Fitz. Bronx trying to break through with their first basket, and their leading scorer, Langan, provides.
Well, Langdon is instant offense for the Bronx. You know, she'll start away from the ball, make a tough cut to the ball, and does crafty moves on the block.
Magruder misses the 3, but the Bronx can't get the ball off the board. Fairfield will have another opportunity. Diane, this is the worry for the 1 seed in the quarterfinals. A cold start. Ryder on this floor yesterday. They got acclimated to the environment. They've finally broken through with a bucket, and Fairfield continues to struggle.
Well, there is some comfortability when you have already played on the court, you've had the jitters off, and then as a first seed, you are sitting there waiting, watching, and now it's your turn to take the floor.
And some concern as Nellie Brown grabs her ankle following this drive to the basket.
Could not see from that angle, but she did come down hard, rolled over. It looks like she's shaking it off.
And the Fairfield athletic training staff remains on the bench. Brown to the free throw line following the foul on Sanaa Redmond, a critical foul. That is her second.
And Redmond did such a great job yesterday. I know you weren't planning for her to be on the bench in the first quarter. Brown put some pressure in the backcourt.
Here's Michaela Firebaugh, absent from the Ryder lineup when they met Fairfield last Saturday. Firebaugh feeling the effects of a back injury, gave it a go yesterday, was not at 100%. Right back out there today, pressured by Magruder. The ball comes loose. Janelle Brown running it out as Fairfield starting to get in sync behind their lead guard.
Well, their lead guard, Brown, has such great body balance. When she's playing defense, she doesn't reach, she moves her feet, and she's able to poke at the ball, and she's got a quick motor, gets it down the floor fast.
Ryder senior Molly Lynch been playing great down the stretch this season. Aaliyah McIver to Kaylin Deviney, whose shot's rejected by Selimovic. That's what Amina brings night in and night out for the Fairfield Stags.
Well, she is really a player who knows how to play the game and will use her body all the time. She'll come over and she'll make the block.
This is a story about strength. It wakes up early in the morning, stays up late, moves mountains, and travels the world. It makes adventure and hard work possible. Strength delivers food to tables, packages to doorsteps, products to stores, and kids to practice. It shows up everywhere you show up. Hercules tires are built for almost every driver and every vehicle. Find the right Hercules for your story and let our strength drive
New Jersey. We got a lot of wow to go around. All year round. So come see for yourself. It's one wow after another here, any time of year. Find your wow at visitnj.org. Little state, lotta.
People always say, just be yourself. But who is that anyway? Were you yourself when you were born? Or do you grow into it? There's only one way to find out. Try everything. Make mistakes. Come back stronger. Free to become exactly the person you were meant to be. Rider University. Free to roam.
Anchored in a region that stretches across vibrant cities and historic landscapes, our institutions are driven by a commitment to academic and athletic excellence. Our student athletes are not only champions through competition and in the classroom, they are lending a helping hand to build a better tomorrow. Join us in shaping a brighter future in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.
2024 MAAC Men's and Women's Basketball Championships in Atlantic City are presented by Hercules Tires. Ride on our strength. Visit HerculesTires.com. Jersey Mike's, a sub above. And New Jersey Travel and Tourism. Find your wow right now at visitnj.org.
The Rider Broncs punching their ticket to the quarterfinals via a 66-56 win over the Iona Gales yesterday. Diane, they just couldn't miss in the second half.
No, their offense really took over the game, and they did it a variety of ways. They hit from the outside. Langdon Taylor, obviously, her step-back signature move, she went to work, and everyone was contributing. I was impressed with the way they were able to get the offensive glass going and put some easy buckets back in.
Rider trying to get some buckets here in this first quarter. Langen the friendly roll. That's a big bucket for the graduate student from Lake Hopatcong, New Jersey. Fairfield misses a quick one on the other end. Brown tries to keep it in play, but it's going back to the Broncs. Execution for Lynn Milligan out of the game's first timeout. It was a cold start for Rider, one of their first six, before Langen got this elbow jumper to fall.
Well, she can hit from that mid-range area, and she was able to just step back, and she creates space for herself. So if you lean in, she'll draw the foul, and as she rotates back, gives herself an open window.
Aaliyah McIver running the point. Starting point guard Sanaa Redmond's got 2 first-quarter fouls. McIver, the freshman from White Plains, New York, with a lot on her shoulders here in the first half. Fireball makes a bad pass. Here comes Nicoletti Leite. Her lead ahead for Daliba got her out of position, and it's another Fairfield turnover. That's their third giveaway. And Diane, when we were talking to Carly Thibault-Dudonish yesterday, you asked, what's the worry? What's the number one nightmare? And she said, critical turnovers. And
they've been happening in the open court, so you can tell they're used to running down quickly, but in transition offense. But right now, Rider Broncs are doing a good job of getting back and disrupting it. Remember, these two teams played last week, and they know each other, and Fairfield has a decided advantage in that game. So sometimes, even though your coaches talk about it, inside you're thinking, okay, this is an opponent that we beat a few days ago. It's going to be kind of easy. Rider Broncs have a different story.
I'd imagine neither coach really tipped their hand in that matchup in March 9th. Schiffer from the corner reins in the three. Top 10 all-time in Broncs history. Putting Rider in front early.
Step and shoot player, got it, close out, get a hand in her face.
Broncs have done a good job keeping Fairfield away from the basket in the half court. Kaz locks up Selimovic and gets the turnover. Mariana Kaz.
Kaz is picking up where she contributed yesterday. Big reason why the Broncs are playing this morning.
You can tell she really takes pride in her defense and guarding one of the opposition's best.
She's got a long wingspan.
Shot clock winding down. 3 to shoot. Schiffer again. Rebound Magruder.
Magruder looks ahead to advance the ball. Takes it deep, and there goes Brown ready to fire up.
Brown rims the three away. Selimovic with the offensive board. But then Kaz ties it up, and it goes to Ryder on the arrow again. Mariana Kaz on the spot.
Well, Kaz, once again, has that uncanny ability, and she's got the quickness to get to the ball. So she knows what she wants to do, and she will go track it down and makes that second effort to dive on it and disrupt the ball and create the turnover. She's also fearless out here. She'll use her body, dig in, dig deep.
Well, this is a Ryder team that says they're committed to not playing scared in this ball game. They feel like, pardon the Atlantic City pun, that they're playing with house money, taking on a Fairfield team that has won 26 in a row. They look like a squad that's got nothing to lose here in the first quarter.
No, very alert. You can see all eyes on each other, very well connected, running the stuff that Coach put in or that she saved and couldn't wait to use it.
Fireball on Katie Lamoureux just back into the lineup. Mick gets a step and takes it to the basket.
A lot of poise on that shot. Looks like she was almost underneath the rim, kissed it high off the glass.
And Diane, we know what Fireball can do shooting the basketball. If she gets points going to the basket, it makes Ryder that much more difficult to defend.
Well, usually she's outside the arc, ready to fire it away, but she's improved her game. Take it to the hole.
Bronx trying to extend a 7-0 run in the final 2 minutes of the first quarter. Schiffer just needs a sliver of daylight. Rebound Lamoureux.
Good look at the basket.
Selimovic in transition is called for traveling.
And that's what happens sometimes when you have not played in the first round. You've watched and you can't wait. You're a little amped up. I'm sure Coach Carly's just going to settle them down, play our game.
6 first quarter turnovers. Fairfield just 2 of 11 from the floor. And the Bronx are starting to believe through 9 minutes of basketball. Langen steps into a long 2. Lamoureux got fouled. That's Ryder's 5th.
Remember, in the first minute of play, they had 2 quick ones, and that adds up, sending Fairfield to the line.
Katie Lamoureux, a good free throw shooter at 77%. Foul on Jessica Schiffer. It's her first.
And Coach Carly, when she plays Lamoureux and Brown together, has a backcourt that, no offense to the forwards, are roadrunners themselves.
Fairfield hasn't scored in 4 minutes. Lamoureux ends the drought.
Stags extend their defense in the backcourt. What a luxury Coach Milligan has with Langdon able to bring the ball up against the pressure.
A lot of contact inside, a whistle down low, foul on Fairfield.
I think Lamoureux got called for the foul in the post.
Now they got Gallagher in the crowd. First on the 5th-year transfer from Bryant. So a 9-second differential at the end of a great first quarter for the Bronx. Fireball pulls up in the mid-range. Kaz with an offensive board. And Anderson fouls Kaz.
And Kaz was able to get her position underneath the rim, goes up fearlessly, grabs the ball, finds herself at the line. She's so active out here on the floor, has the skill set to get in front, keep her composure, like the crafty move on the block, switch directions.
Kaz, a 60% foul shooter.
And the Fairfield faithful are trying to give her a little rough time underneath the basket. She doesn't care.
It's March basketball. It's what you play for. You work all season to be in an atmosphere like this. Cause, a junior from Spain in her first year with the Bronx. Had a great junior college career at Casper College in Wyoming. The Rider lead is 3 with the shot clock off at the end of the opening quarter. Can Fairfield get a little momentum from their half-court offense? MAAC Player of the Year, Janelle Brown, working her way into the paint, floating it up, but it's short.
And who comes down with the rebound but Cause underneath the basket once again.
The Stags struggle in the opening 10. They're just 2 of 12 from the floor and have turned the ball over 6 times. Rider leads. Jessica Schiffer knocking down a 3. The Bronx use a 7-0 run in the middle of the period and lead it 10-7 going to the second quarter. Hercules Tires is the official tire of the MAAC, and for over 65 years has been providing tires with unbeatable quality at an unmatched value. Whatever the vehicle and whatever the terrain, Hercules Tires invites you to ride on our strength. For a retailer near you, visit HerculesTires.com. Diane, you can't script March. The 8th seed Rider Bronx with a 10-7 lead over the Fairfield Stags after a quarter in Atlantic City.
Well, that's why they call it March Madness. And Coach Milligan said, they were ready. They were going to put on a couple different defensive schemes. And right now, I think the Stags just need to settle down, get back to their game plan. They haven't scored from outside the arc, and that's something that they do and do well. I expect them to hit some outside shots.
Riders done a good job keeping Fairfield out of transition, and they've struggled in their half-court offense, just 2 of 12 from the floor. Gallagher gets a corner 3. Offensive board for Lamoureux. Second chance in traffic, bounces in. Exactly what Carly Thibault-Dudonis wanted to see to start the second quarter.
Well, when your shots aren't going, you've got to get into the paint. You got to get some offensive putbacks, and I'm sure that was addressed in the huddle.
McIver finds Kaz, a shifty move to the basket, but she can't finish it.
Lamoureux will bring the ball down quickly.
Spot an open shooter. Anderson from the corner. That's Fairfield's first 3.
And that's signature Stag basketball. bring the ball down quickly, transition offense, find your outside shooters. Anderson's one of the best.
The MAAC Rookie of the Year can score in a multitude of ways. 7th best in the conference, 37% from long range. Langen on Magruder. Now she's doubled. Muscles up a shot, but it rolls off.
Crafty move through 3 Stag defenders. Did everything but go in, rolled off the rim.
Anderson goes back-to-back from long range.
The height of Anderson makes it so difficult to close out. You know, she's got long arms, she's tall, and when she spots up, difficult guard.
Here come the Stags, just like that. 8 straight points to take a 15-10 lead. Kaz lost the handle. Looking for Fireball, but it's taken away by Gallagher.
And how about Gallagher just baiting that pass to come across the lane so she could pick it off.
Lamoureux earning a couple of free throws as Fairfield now starting to show their mettle on offense.
Well, I'm sure a lot was addressed in the huddle. You know, I'm sure they talked a little bit about their slow start. This is not a time to rest on your laurels, but it's a time to go to work.
More foul trouble for the Rider guards. Second foul on Jessica Schiffer as she joins Sanaa Redmond at that number. Katie Lamoureux has been very good in both games against Rider during the regular season. 15 points on March 9th, hit 5 threes in that game. Carly Fisher in for the first time, the freshman wearing number 11, a 6'2 forward from Tappan, New York. Lamoureux, tough shot, rebound Langen.
And Lamoureux that time had Anderson opposite, and Anderson was calling for the ball. She decided to take it herself, and I don't think the Stags are ready for the offensive boards.
Kaz lobs to Langen, and Fisher makes the defensive play. Magruder, some space for 3. Rebound Kaz. She's been around the basketball all game long. Aaliyah McIver playing big minutes at point guard. The lob for Kaz. It finds its way to Fireball, who drops it in.
And Kaz is getting a lot of attention out there, and Fireball had an open look, which is very unusual when you're playing the Rider Bronx.
Second field goal for Michaela Fireball. The senior's got 4 points. Anderson sets up Fisher. Easy money for Carly Fisher. Timeout, Lynn Milligan. Fairfield has come to life in the second quarter. They've opened up a 17-12 lead over the Rider Bronx.
And Coach Milligan wants to talk it over, doesn't want this game to get out of hand. The Stags will score quickly.
Every March, Jersey Mike's turns money from subs into charitable donations.
And March 27th is Jersey Mike's annual day of giving, where 100% of sales from every sub are given back to the community.
And to kick off all that giving, Peter gave me an apron. I'm honored.
Looking good, Danny. We've got subs to make, though.
Yeah, now I know why you gave me the apron. Join us Wednesday, March 27th for Jersey Mike's Day of Giving. Be a sub above.
We are more than athletes. We strive to create an environment where student athletes feel comfortable speaking about their mental health struggles.
Suicide is the second leading cause of death for teens and young adults ages 10 to 34.
25.5% of adults ages 18 to 24 are having seriously considered suicide this month.
Let's eliminate the stigma where asking for help is a sign of weakness.
Let's talk about it now so we don't regret it later. You are not alone. Call 988 if you are experiencing a mental health crisis.
This is a story about strength. It wakes up early in the morning, stays up late, moves mountains, and travels the world. It makes adventure and hard work possible. Strength delivers food to tables, packages to doorsteps, products to stores, and kids to practice. It shows up everywhere you show up. Hercules tires are built for almost every driver and every vehicle. Find the right Hercules for your story and let our strength drive yours.
New Jersey, we got a lot of wow to go around. All year round. So come see for yourself. It's one wow after another here, any time of year. Find your wow at visitnj.org. Little state, lotta.
Day 2 at Jim Whalen Boardwalk Hall in Atlantic City, New Jersey. Griffin Della Penna here with you, kicking off the quarterfinal round as the top seed of Fairfield Stags currently have a 5-point lead over Ryder. But Fairfield, they were held to their lowest point total in a first quarter all season long against this Bronx team. And when you need a start, how about you go to a freshman in Megan Anderson? Back-to-back threes really ignited this Stags offense, and now they're rocking and grooving, guys.
Difference a quarter makes. Fairfield already with more points here in the first 3+ minutes of the second than they had in the first quarter. And look, they're showing off their depth. Megan Anderson making plays. But Fairfield gives up 2 off the restart as Ryder executes well against the press.
Well, Megan Anderson has been making plays all season long. She's a critical component of the Stags' success.
Anderson off the mark there. Gallagher with an offensive board. Throughout the season, we have seen Meg Anderson flip the switch and take over basketball games. Will that be the story today? Brown all the way to the cup and one.
And makes a tough fall, but I like the way the Stags that time used the clock. Everyone touched the ball before a shot went in, and Brown was able to get an open lane. And once she gets ahead of steam, watch her. She will go strong. She gets somebody on her hip, gets the ball up, is able to score the bucket, draw the contact, but she is on the floor right now. Looks like she came down on her elbow or hip.
Janelle Brown in serious discomfort. The Fairfield athletic training staff, head coach Carly Thibault-Dudonis over attending to the MAAC Player of the Year. Janelle Brown has one speed, Diane, and it is full go. And she took a hard fall. Have another look.
Well, she goes strong. She elevates, and off the hip of Taylor Langdon fell down, and that was a tough fall. She could not brace herself because she was in the act of shooting when she hit the hip and fell to the ground.
It looked like she fell awkwardly on her side or shoulder area. As Brown, nice to see a little smile as she gingerly makes her way off the floor.
Well, her body was twisted a little bit when she fell, so she really couldn't brace her fall. Or maybe she just really wanted a rest.
Nellie Brown, a player who invites the spotlight, loves to be the vocal leader of the Fairfield Stags. Her teammate completes the and one. Fairfield by 6. But concern on the Stag bench for the health of the MAAC Player of the Year. This is where Fairfield's depth really comes into play. Fireball drives by Magruder. Good help from Anderson. Shot clock getting short. Langen spots Lynch. And Molly Lynch swishes the 3.
Good offensive possession for the Ryder Bronx. They didn't get stuffled with the shot clock winding down, found her outside shooter, and Lynch was able to deliver.
Molly Lynch continues to be one of the hottest shooters in the MAAC. Meg Anderson is whistled for the travel.
And the Bronx are, as soon as Fairfield puts the ball on the floor in the paint, help side defense is coming over quickly, and Fairfield's not recognizing, and they're taking a charge or creating walks on the Bronx area.
Carly Fisher out for Fairfield. Mackenzie DeLiba returns. Sanaa Redmond back in the ball game for Ryder. She's playing with 2 first-half fouls. Lynch telegraphed the pass. An easy steal for Anderson. Lamoureux probing. DeLiba to Magruder. Catch and shoot 3. Outside of Anderson, Fairfield is cold on the perimeter.
The Bronx are doing a good job on the defensive glass, taking away putbacks for the Stags.
Another single-digit shot clock.
Wing ball screen, outside shot.
Molly Lynch in rhythm. Rebound DeLiba.
And DeLiba has done a great job coming in off the bench, giving the Stags some needed area in the post, rebounding, facilitating out of the block.
Yeah, plays just 9 minutes a game on the year, but when she comes in, she is making something happen. 4 points a game. There's an offensive board, and it leads to a second chance bucket for Meg Anderson.
She doesn't draw a lot of defensive attention, and she's crafty underneath the basket, grabs it, throws it out to her shooter. Why not Megan Anderson?
It's been a great second quarter for Anderson, who's got all 8 of her points here in the frame. A whistle away from the ball. Kendall Magruder got knocked down, and that's an offensive foul. Charge it to freshman Kaylin DeVinny. Her first in the Bronx second.
Coach Milligan wasn't sure what exactly happened. She wants a little bit of an explanation.
John Capolino, Scott Perkins, Ashley Olson, our officiating crew. DeVinny departs after the foul. Mariana Cause back on the floor. And good news on the Fairfield bench. Janelle Brown has moved away from the end where the athletic trainers sit, back up to where the assistant coaches are, and that's usually the spot you sit in when you're going to check back into the ball game.
I don't think she'll be on the bench much longer.
Amina Selimovic falling away and scores over Cause.
Selimovic worked hard for that basket. She kept it for the 5 seconds, was able to create some space and get the shot off.
Boy, working hard is what Amina Selimovic does. Everything at full speed.
Well, when you play for Coach Carly, you do everything at full speed.
Lamoureux checks it away. It remains with Ryder as Fairfield stays active defensively. Both of these teams, so much life on the defensive end of the floor here in the first half.
And for Ryder, it's their second game in a row, and they're playing with enormous amount of energy, and you know the Stags couldn't wait to get on the floor.
There's DeLiba getting her hand on the basketball as Ryder turns it over for the 9th time. Gallagher open for 3. Rebound, Fireball.
And Fireball, I like her mobility out here. You know, she sat for about 5 games with a lower back injury, and she doesn't look like that's hurting her today.
Kaz rolls inside, and Gallagher commits the foul in the mismatch. Good job by Ryder to recognize they had the 6'1 Kaz on the 5'8 Gallagher.
Gallagher was a little late on the closeout, was moving, created the foul.
Take another look at Amina Selimovic going to work on Mariana Cause.
And look, it took her 3 pivots to get that shot off. Little floater over the rim.
Janelle Brown is back into the ball game for the Fairfield Stag. She's now sporting a little extra padding on her right side. She took an awkward tumble on her right elbow, right side, got checked out, stretched out, a little more equipment, and the MAAC Player of the Year is back in the ball game.
That was the 5th team foul on the Stags. So Langdon will now go and shoot 2 from the free throw line.
Yeah, Kendall Magruder picking up her first personal. Taylor Langen, a 67% free throw shooter.
how important has she been to the Bronx? I mean, she does it all out here. They need a go-to bucket. You look for number 23 in maroon.
And Taylor Langen in her first year with Ryder after a 4-year career at Colgate. Played last year at the Division II level with Millersville, where she tore up the PSAC, averaging 16, 7, and 3, shot 30% from downtown. And boy, this year, she's really been a problem at the 3-4. And there she's hopping into a passing lane to force a turnover.
And a little bit of a half-court trapping defense by the Bronx, which is something that Coach Milligan talked to us about earlier today when she said we're going to throw a few different defensive looks at the Stags.
Bronx doing a great job staying in touch here in the second quarter. Fairfield scored 10 of the period's first 12 points, but Ryder battling back.
Shot clock winding down once again.
A long three. Rebound Lamoureux. And Fairfield really turning the screws defensively.
And watch how Lamoureux checks out everybody in transition, sees everybody guarded, decides, all right, I'll take it myself, right down the lane.
Boy, what a great coast-to-coast take for the freshman Lamoureux. So much confidence on the basketball after grabbing the rebound.
Ryder Bronx being patient on the offense. And Kaz once again recognizes the defense is over her, steps back, draws the contact.
And Mackenzie DeLiba commits the personal. It's her first. That allows Carly Thibault-Dudonis to get Meg Anderson back into the game. .65 seconds to go in an entertaining first half. Fairfield struggled to score in the first quarter. They have found their form in the second, making 8 of their last 15 shots. Ryder with some miscommunication and unforced error.
Well, that's a result of the Stag pressure. You know, if they let you catch it, they're right up in your shorts, in your face, and make it very difficult for you to get any space to operate.
Lynn Milligan changing the calculus. Taylor Langen will rest. Sophie Brunches makes her first appearance of the MAAC tournament. 6'5" junior from the Netherlands.
And she draws Anderson as a defensive assignment.
And there's Anderson firing for three. Kaz had the rebound and got fouled, going back to the floor. A personal on Amina Selimovic. That's her first and the team's fourth.
And Kaz, is, as we mentioned, is always in the action. Anytime a shot goes up, she hustles quickly underneath the basket to go for any offense or defensive rebounding.
Brown pestering the freshman McIver. Lynch tries to step up and set a screen, but the trap is there, and Ryder's fortunate to keep possession.
Well, when Brown and Lamoureux kind of go two-man game on you, that's a lot of pressure.
Brown, the senior, trying to give the first-year McIver a taste of tournament basketball. Kaz pass, tipped by Magruder. How about Brown sacrificing the body? Offensive foul.
She looks recovered from her fall underneath on the offensive end, ready to play signature Stag defense with the charge. She sizes up, she gets to the spot, holds her ground, doesn't lean in, and falls back with the contact.
Well, that's the quickness, the awareness, and the athleticism of Nellie Brown on full display.
And often players at that point lean over and are called for the foul. She was straight up, through the contact.
Fairfield's got the final shot of the half. Brown drops in the 14-footer.
Got a little rest on the bench. She came back, guns loaded.
The Bronx led by 3 after 10. Fairfield showed why they are the MAAC's top offense in the second quarter. Nellie Brown adds an exclamation point, and the top seed leads it by 9 after 20 minutes of basketball.
That little hesitation, mid-range jumper, floats right over the rim. After she took the charge, she's doing it all.
Griffin Della Penna has Fairfield head coach Carly Thibault-Dudonis. Take it away, Griffin.
Coach, maybe a lackluster first quarter, but your team then really got to form offensively and then didn't allow a field goal for over 5 minutes there. What did you say to your group entering the second?
Just calm down. I thought we were a little bit frantic to start the game. We had 0 assists and 6 turnovers, which is unlike us. We got to do a better job of just kind of calming down, let the game come to us, and then pick up our defensive pressure a little bit to allow us to get some easy looks in transition.
Janelle Brown took a pretty scary fall right here. Then she came back in less than 4 minutes later and then took that charge towards the end of the frame. How important is she to your team?
Oh, she's the heart and soul. There's a reason that she's the player of the year right now. I mean, she impacts all sides of the ball, both offensively and defensively. And so, she plays really hard and she takes some hard hits because of it. But we were glad to see she was okay.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck the rest of the way. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Griffin. Fairfield 28, Ryder 19, the score at the break. Freshman Carly Fisher getting into the act. The long-range shooting of Molly Lynch keeping Ryder in touch, but Fairfield down the stretch showed their mettle. They have a 9-point lead. It's halftime in Boardwalk Hall. Jeff Brawl now joined by Mike Thibault, a man who has had many titles in the game of women's basketball. The GM of the Washington Mystics, a longtime head coach at various levels, an assistant coach for the United States Olympic team. Today, your title is Dad, the father of Fairfield head coach Carly Thibault-Dudonis. What is this experience like for someone who has done everything there is to do in the game of basketball to be sitting in the stands watching your child coaching a playoff game?
Way harder than coaching. When you're coaching the game, you're just doing your job and you don't think about it much. Sitting in the stands is just, it's hard. You're rooting hard for them to do their best. You don't want to yell at a referee. You don't want to, and you just want to be dad. And, it's fun, but it's tense.
If you put your coaching hat on for a second, why has Carly and her team been so successful this year?
I think the culture she's built lends itself towards unselfish play at both ends of the floor. They're very, very well connected. I think they're probably a year ahead of schedule in some ways of what they thought this could be. They pass the ball, they move it, They're unselfish. That's why, different players have stepped up on different nights. And defensively, they're really, connected. Coaches always talk about being on a string defensively. They really are. And it shows, national rankings defensively and how they've handled, the different opponents that they see every night.
How often in the family group chat are you, Eric and Carly, talking about basketball, your respective teams, strategies, ideas? How much does it permeate into your regular family life?
It permeates to the point of talking about our teams, but I don't know if it's as much the X and O's and strategy. It's more the philosophy or the psychological part, how you handle certain situations. You're talking about at this level, young adults trying to find their way through the game and through college and everything else. Mine are a little bit differently. They've gone through that process, but they all still have their day-to-day things that you talk about. But the X's and O's, we don't talk to each other unless asked.
Carly and the Stags, top 25, one of the great stories in women's college basketball this year, in a year full of wonderful stories for the women's game. You've been around women's basketball for so long. You've walked the walk. It seems like the sport is finally having its moment. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think it started a couple years ago. You've had, players burst onto the scene both in the WNBA and the college level who have captivated fans' attention. Obviously, this year everybody's talked about Caitlin Clark, but there's a lot of those out there. Players are becoming household names. Teams are drawing more. I mean, look at the attendance in women's basketball in college, and our league has gone up each year. TV ratings are up, and I just think that there's a respect for the game now amongst all basketball fans, not just fans of women's basketball. I have NBA friends who, they tune in and they'll say, hey, we saw your game the other night. And so I think people are just paying attention to the high level that's being played.
Mike, great to see you. Thanks for the time. Enjoy the second half.
Thanks, Jeff. Appreciate it.
We've got plenty more to come from inside Boardwalk Hall after this. You're watching the MAAC Championships on ESPN+.
Every March, Jersey Mike.
I think the whole relationship and partnership with the University Counseling Center is vital, and we have a very strong partnership and a great working relationship with Dr. Anissa Moody and her staff. Last year was the first year we had an embedded counselor from the counseling center that was specifically housed in athletic facilities, so that there was a recognition there. Walk-in hours, appointment hours, that will continue, and those hours will be expanded this year.
We still have a stigma that is attached to mental health. Unfortunately, student athletes or even students are still not openly ready to go and get help for these issues. The embedded counselor, because she or he is here in our space, it becomes a little easier for them to just walk in. We've seen a big jump in.
I think the whole relationship and partnership with the University Counseling Center is vital, and we have a very strong partnership and a great working relationship with Dr. Anissa Moody and her staff. Last year was the first year we had an embedded counselor from the counseling center that was specifically housed in athletic facilities, so that there was a recognition there. Walk-in hours, appointment hours, that will continue, and those hours will be expanded this year.
We still have a stigma that is attached to mental health. Unfortunately, student athletes or even students are still not openly ready to go and get help for these issues. The embedded counselor, because she or he is here in our space, it becomes a little easier for them to just walk in. We've seen a big jump in the resource being used in the past year. So I think it's going to be helpful even this coming year, where we kind of break that barrier, that is stopping the student athletes from making use of this resource.
We're very excited that through a state grant, we were able to hire a part-time sports psychologist as a consultant. And also part of the grant is a new app that supports student mental health and wellness, which will help us meet demand and add additional support.
Even though Ryder is a small school, we are trying our best to make the most of what we have in our reach. So this grant definitely helps us because it gives us a few more resources to be able to hire a consultant sports psychologist, extend the hours of the embedded counselor.
During COVID, we were one of the first schools in the country, I think the first school in the country, to require all coaches to get mental health first aid certification.
Our coaches, just like us athletic trainers, are with our athletes every single day. For the coaches to be able to recognize any sign of distress or crises is extremely essential. Again, we are not saying that the mental health first aid training is going to make anybody an expert or is going to make them a counselor. No. The training helps us in recognizing these signs and symptoms which can then be addressed.
We're just trying to, create the awareness, reduce the stigma, and I think we're making really good progress in this space.
Our goal at Ryder Sports Medicine and Ryder Athletics is to normalize asking for help. We need to stop the stigma.
It's a beautiful day on the boardwalk. Take a look at the Atlantic Ocean just steps away from historic Jim Whalen Boardwalk Hall. Inside this facility, the Fairfield Stags leading the Rider Broncs 28-19. It was a slow start for Fairfield, but they put it together in the second quarter and showed off the kind of game that has helped them to 26 consecutive wins in a row.
Well, look at the field goal shooting percentage for Fairfield was 37, and they averaged 47. So I expect that to raise with after the halftime speech. Three-point shooting, 14.3, uncharacteristic for the Stags. Credit the Rider defense, made it a little bit difficult along the perimeter. Rebounds 19, turnovers 8 for the Stags, but Rider was able to secure the ball, only 11 for them, and points off turnovers, Fairfield 8. So Jeff, surprised by the shooting of Fairfield. I expect that to improve second half.
Very balanced stat sheet for the Stags. 8 for Anderson and Brown, 6 for Lamoureux, along with 6 boards. Amina Selimovic has added 4. The question for Rider, as they take the basketball to start the third quarter, is where will the offense come from? Langen's got 6, Fireball's got 4.
And Redmond, who had 13 yesterday, is now in the lineup. She had to sit with the 2 personal fouls.
Yeah, really couldn't get into the flow. Saw a lot of Aaliyah McIver in the first half. Fireball gets her own offensive board, kicks to Langen, and she sticks the 3.
And Langen, catch and shoot player, but how about Kaz again? Tapped it out to her.
Seems like every time Rider needs a big play, Kaz has been in the middle of it. Gallagher lost the handle, but keeps it with the Stags. Lamoureux's got space, and she answers the Langen 3 with one of her own.
And the lane was cleared by the cutting of Fairfield. That open offense allows spaces to happen. They really run the floor well from right to left side.
What a game for Katie Lamoureux.
And as a first year sometimes, you come into the tournament, you don't know what to expect, but she's very comfortable out here.
The cutter is Kaz, and they foul Kaz on her way inside. That's Janelle Brown's personal foul, her first.
And no surprise, Kaz is taking the free throw. I mean, she's been very active out here. She wants the basketball. And when she grabs it, she really doesn't have a lot of motion, goes up strong.
All of Kaz's scoring has come at the free throw line. Struggled against Fairfield in the 2 regular season meetings. 4 points in 23 minutes last Saturday, just 1 point in 17 when the teams met for the first time on February 1st. A game won by Fairfield at Rider, 67-44. Broncs down 7 here in the early portion of the third quarter.
And the Broncs are now in a 1-3-1. As Coach Milliken said, covered a couple different defensive looks for the Broncs.
See how Fairfield attacks the zone. A long 3 for Lamoureux. Lynn Milligan telling us, don't be surprised if we play, let's say 1-3-1 or anything else. Brown gets the steal, and she runs it out for 2 more. Janelle Brown with 10 points, the first player in double figures today.
And how about Brown? Just the presence of Brown makes you a little unsure of what you want to do.
So quick and athletic, such a high IQ player. Doesn't get enough credit for how well she defends. Yeah, a few too many fouls if you're being nitpicky about the game of Janelle Brown. She'll turn the ball over a little more than you like, but boy, for every mistake, she seems to make 2 or 3 positive plays.
And she affects the game in a variety of ways. She can be the point, she can be the 2 guard, she can be the outside scorer.
She could probably be the center if they needed her to be. She's got that kind of confidence and that kind of ability.
And what a fierce competitor.
Yeah, Nellie Brown, one of my favorite people to talk to in the MAAC. She's always got something for you whenever you get a few moments with Nellie.
Did a little dancing before the game out here, mid-court.
Langen finds Redmond in the corner. Tough shot over Gallagher is no good. That's great team defense by the Fairfield Stags.
Well, help side comes over so quickly. They close down the passing lanes. They close down the drives to the hole.
They leave Lamoureux wide open, and the freshman makes Ryder pay. Timeout, Lynn Milligan.
I can't speak highly enough of Lamoureux's game. As a freshman, she's able to score from all ends of the court, hits the three.
12 points for Katie Lamoureux in her first taste of the tournament.
How about
Fairfield
touches
has
the
opened
line?
up a double-digit lead.
Touches line and draws it back.
People always say, just be yourself. But who is that anyway? Were you yourself when you were born? Or do you grow into it? There's only one way to find out. Try everything. Make mistakes. Come back stronger. Free to become exactly the person you were meant to be. Rider University. Free to roam.
Anchored in a region that stretches across vibrant cities and historic landscapes, our institutions are driven by a commitment to academic and athletic excellence. Our student athletes are not only champions through competition and in the classroom, they are lending a helping hand to build a better tomorrow. Join us in shaping a brighter future in the Metro Atlantic Athletic Conference.
Every March, Jersey Mike's turns money from subs into charitable donations.
And March 27th is Jersey Mike's annual day of giving, where 100% of sales from every sub are given back to the community.
And to kick off all that giving, Peter gave me an apron. I'm honored.
Looking good, Danny. We've got subs to make, though.
Yeah, now I know why you gave me the apron. Join us Wednesday, March 27th for Jersey Mike's Day of Giving. Be a sub above.
We are more than athletes. We strive to create an environment where student athletes feel comfortable speaking about their mental health struggles.
Suicide is the second leading cause of death for teens and young adults ages 10 to 34.
25.5% of adults ages 18 to 24 are having seriously considered suicide this month.
Let's eliminate the stigma where asking for help is a sign of weakness.
Let's talk about it now so we don't regret it later.
You are not alone. Call 988 if you are experiencing a mental health crisis.
This is a story about strength. It wakes up early in the morning, stays up late, moves mountains, and travels the world. It makes adventure and hard work possible. Strength delivers food to tables, packages to doorsteps, products to stores, and kids to practice. It shows up everywhere you show up. Hercules tires are built for almost every driver and every vehicle. Find the right Hercules for your story and let our strength drive yours.
Award your champions in style. Levy Recognition is the official award sponsor of the MAAC. Get memorable premium custom awards and recognition gifts today. Visit levyrecognition.com. Plenty of recognition for the Fairfield Stags. Lynn Milligan is trying to prevent them from adding another trophy to the trophy case this year. They're the regular season champions. They're the first MAAC team in the top 25 since Marist accomplished the feat in 2011. Nellie Brown there, the MAAC Player of the Year. Megan Anderson, the league's Rookie of the Year. They're both on the first team. Amina Selimovic, a third-teamer. Fairfield's all over the MAAC postseason awards.
And how about the resume that they have created? You know, they beat a team from the Big Ten. They beat a team from the Atlantic 10. They beat a team from the Big East.
Molly Lynch hitting her second three. Janelle Brown races inside, and that's her game. So tough off the bounce.
And how about she draws her defender outside the arc and has that quick first step. Gets to the hole quickly.
It's been incredible to watch the maturation of Janelle Brown throughout her 4-year career at Fairfield. Spent her first 2 seasons playing under Joe Frager. It was a dramatically different style for Fairfield with Coach Frager at the helm. When Carly Thibault-Dudanis took over at the beginning of last season, that really unshackled Janelle Brown, and we're seeing what she's capable of.
Coach Carly really found a good recipe to get Brown going. You know, she came off the bench, would be a contributor for the Stags, but now she's their primary go-to person. She's the glue that keeps everybody together.
Brown gets the steal, but Fairfield can't score in close. They keep it on the possession arrow.
Well, Fairfield has, 14? Here she goes. quickly to the hole, tries to step around, a little Euro step. Anderson underneath. Once again, tied up.
Job by McIver to tie up the basketball. She's been asked to play big minutes in this tournament. Helped Ryder key a run in the third quarter yesterday with the Bronx down 8. And now McIver steals the inbounds. Finds the shooter, and Schiffer buries it.
Good defense leads to great offense. Brown made a little defensive error. Ryder took advantage.
Brown can't get it to fall, but will shoot a pair.
You get the impression that if Brown makes a mistake, she quickly rectifies it and does something spectacular out here.
Well, it's one of the reasons Fairfield is so good. They will make their share of mistakes, a few too many turnovers, as you'll see McIver with the drive and dish. But Fairfield is always relentless. They are coming downhill at full speed, no matter whether they've just made their last 5 shots or turned it over on their last 5 possessions.
Short-term memory bodes well for a championship team.
Rare miss at the foul line for Brown, who shoots 85% at the stripe. And as we talk about the way her career has progressed, she didn't play a ton in her first 3 seasons with Fairfield. This year, a starter from the jump, really owned the locker room by making plays like that. Janelle Brown throws her body all over the court for her team.
And she also has matured off the floor. I had a chance to talk with the Fairfield Stags about life after basketball, life after college, and certainly a maturation level that is nice to see, and you can see why she is one of the team leaders.
She'll have to wait a little longer for life after basketball. Already announced that she will use her 5th year and return to play for Carly Thibault-Dudonis at Fairfield next season. So that sound you just heard is the other 10 head coaches in the MAAC sighing in unison.
Good news for the Fairfield Stags, not so good news for the rest of the league.
Fairfield gets a stop in transition. Kaz and Nicoletti Leite battling at midcourt. Here's Mackenzie DeLiba. Nicoletti Leite, such a great facilitator as part of Fairfield's second unit.
Who I believe is coming back next year as well.
The cutter is Anderson. Rebound Redmond. Well, that's one Meg Anderson would like back.
Uncharacteristic for the first year.
So now Redmond the other way, picking up a couple of free throws.
And that's something that she built on yesterday. She can go coast to coast. Her teammates look for her, gets that first step, knows only one speed, and that's fast to the hole.
We've got a timeout on the floor. The Ryder Bronx trying to stay in touch. They've outscored Fairfield by 1 here in the second half and have closed to within 8 in the MAAC quarterfinal. The MAAC Esports Championship will take place March 14th to the 16th at the Showboat Hotel in the Bourbon and Harlem Room. The 2024 championship will feature tournaments in 5 different game titles: League of Legends, Overwatch 2, Rocket League, Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, and Valorant. Here inside historic Jim Whalen Boardwalk Hall, Diane, so much history in this facility. It's where John F. Kennedy accepted the Democratic nomination for president. Mike Tyson has fought here. Bruce Springsteen has graced the stage, and the first ever Miss America pageant took place inside these walls.
And the host of a lot of high school athletics as well. I remember in high school, our state championships were held on this floor as well. Active place.
So now Redmond 1 out of 2 at the free throw line. Ryder within 7. They're mixing up their defenses here in the third quarter. Lynn Milligan saying she's not shy about opening up the entire playbook. Anderson misses the corner 3. Daliba with the offensive board. Brown gets a hand on it but can't keep it in play.
And how about Brown's pursuit of the ball? Went out of bounds, but she came from opposite sides of the floor, went up strong, just a little too much off her leg.
Redmond, Langen, Lynch, Schiffer, and Cause for the Bronx. Ryder led by 3 after a quarter. Fairfield gave him a punch in the second stanza, but the Bronx are breaking through, and one, Taylor Langen.
And how about the read by Kaz? She saw Langdon coming across the lane. She had to step on her defender, gave her a bounce pass. She's coming across, gives her a bounce pass. Langdon was able to control it and go up and pivot, draw the contact, and won. That two-man game of Langdon and Kaz has really worked well for Coach Milligan today.
11 points for Langen, 4 of 10 from the floor. And all of a sudden, we've got a 4-point ball game.
Uncharted territory for the Stags in the MAAC play.
They've been tested a few times. Didn't play well at home against St. Peter's. Had to turn around a 10-point fourth quarter deficit against Mount St. Mary's down in Emmitsburg, Maryland. But Diane, in both games, they've done what championship teams need to do. They found a way to win, and that seems to be what's in front of them again here this afternoon.
Well, with Coach Carley at the helm, we can expect some good things coming out of the timeout, out of the huddle.
Ryder in the 1-3-1. Magruder goes baseline. Brown fires from the wing. Good board by Magruder. Lamoureux, deep 3. Third chance at points. Anderson keeps it alive, but her pass hit the sideline, so Fairfield turns it over.
Strong pursuit of the ball for the Stags, but the Ryder Bronx stayed in their defensive plan and was able to get the rebound.
Fairfield moving the ball well against the 1-3-1. It's hard to rebound out of. They're getting a lot of second chance opportunities, but just haven't been able to put it away.
I think I would credit the Bronx defense on that, making them rush the shot, get them out of their comfort zone.
Here's Kaz on Magruder, and that's an offensive foul. Kendall Magruder so smart defensively, earning a whistle to get possession back for her team.
Kaz doesn't like the call. She thought she grabbed her arm, but the officials think it was a charge. Here we're going to watch. Grabs the ball, goes hard to the hole, held her ground. Good call by the officials.
Yeah, I think that's just a great play by Kendall Magruder, the transfer from North Texas in her first year at Fairfield. You know, you talk about some of those struggles the Stags had in the regular season. That was when Magruder was out of the lineup. She means so much to this Fairfield team. The little things that she does, what she can bring both in the starting lineup and off the bench. Brown loses the handle. It will go to Ryder on the possession arrow. Everything turning the Bronx way here late in the third quarter.
Well, the Bronx are well connected on the defensive end. So Coach Milligan talked about throwing some different things out there, and then it's an impressive play by the Bronx where they're able to take the game plan that they probably put in the last week and execute out here.
Janelle Brown looking at Fairfield's cheering section saying, we need a little life, help us out. A lot of red and white in the stands here in Atlantic City.
Well, the Mahoney Arena certainly attracted a lot of fans on the Fairfield campus, so I think the Stags are accustomed to having their Fairfield faithful cheer them on. There are a few who have made the play.
A critical possession for the Rider Bronx. They're on a 7-0 run the last 3 minutes and have made their last 3 shots from the field.
And are playing fearlessly out here.
Magruder fouls Schiffer, and that's her 3rd. It's the 4th on Fairfield.
Dangerous pass, but Schiffer was able to get 1 step and draw the contact.
Magruder must sit. Nicole Gallagher takes her spot.
And the Stags have went to their bench in every game, so coming off the bench is no surprise for any of the players.
Depth is their calling card. What a move by Kaz. Goes to the Hezi and scores.
How about takes a quick step to the hole once she saw daylight.
2-point game. Lamoureux. Brown with the offensive board. Wrapped up in traffic. It stays with Fairfield.
And you got to credit Kaz with holding on to the ball and not fouling.
And
quick hands.
Athletic rebound by Brown, and then a good play by Kaz. Now the officials are going to send both teams over to their respective benches. Take a look at the end of this play.
Going to review, was it an extra contact by Brown as she came up after the whistle was blown? They're going to check and see.
We'll see. Kaz went to ground when
the elbow came across. I thought the whistle had blown, but when you're out on the floor, you don't hear it. You're too involved in the play.
So John Capolino and Scott Perkins have gone over to the monitor. Ashley Olsen waits for her look.
And it's going to be interesting to see how the Stags handle a 2-point game. They haven't been in this situation in tournament time. Here we go. We have Brown going up, and she loses her balance. Kaz grabs the ball to tie it up. I think the official makes the call. Brown still wants possession. That's the kind of player she is. But as she brings the ball up, did she extend that elbow? That's what the officials are looking.
And obviously no sound on the replay, but that happened well after the jump ball had already been called. And indeed, Ashley Olsen confirming that the officials are just taking a look at the end of that last play to see if they need to dole out any punishment. The call on the court, of course, held ball, possession, Fairfield. John Capolino in charge of this officiating crew sends Scott Perkins away. Now Ashley Olsen will get her look. This is protocol. And Diane, it's a critical decision. Fairfield with 4 fouls here in the 3rd quarter. Ryder has scored 12 of the game's last 14 points. And you get the feeling, and it's March, we knew this would be the case, that every possession down the stretch will be critical.
And both teams are leaving it all out on the floor. So you're going to see physical play, and you're going to see plays that people are trying to make, even if they're off balance, and that's sometimes when you create the contact.
All right, Ashley Olsen is going to come over and let us know what the officials decided.
Basketball play.
Yep, they decided that there was no other punishment to hand out at the end of the play. Fairfield ball. They've got 18 seconds on their shot clock. Trying to snap a 4-minute and 15-second scoring drought. Selimovic, Gallagher, Lamoureux, Anderson, and the player of the year, Janelle Brown. She calls her own number, but can't bank it home. Rebound Ryder. The Bronx get another stop.
And Brown certainly wanted to score that basket after the jump ball call underneath the strings.
Ryder hasn't led since the 9:44 mark of the 2nd quarter.
They're sticking to their defensive game plan, and it's paying dividends.
Schiffer. Rebound Brown. That was a good look for one of the best 3-point shooters in the MAAC. Brown all the way to the basket for 2.
And that's what Brown does so well. We talk about her being the heart and soul for the Stags. If they need a bucket, she's going to find a way to get it. Defensive rebound, take it coast to coast.
It's starting to feel like Janelle Brown wants to flip the switch and take over this basketball game. Selimovic closes down Schiffer. Shot clock's at 4. Langen barrels into Selimovic, and Amina Selimovic takes the charge.
Well, Langdon started that drive outside the lane, and that gave time for Selimovic to come over, slide, keep her position. And Fairfield Stags have been taught how to take a charge. You know, they don't lean in, they hold their ground, and when they feel the contact, they move down to the ground. Easy call for the officials.
Third foul on Taylor Langen as Amina Selimovic, Diane, makes the kind of play that she's become known for. Carly Thibault-Dudon saying on so many occasions this year, a Selimovic hustle play has saved our bacon, and she just may have done it again in the MAAC quarterfinal.
And ignites the Stags.
Brown whips a pass across the lane to Gallagher. She finds an open shooter. Long rebound. Goes to Ryder. That was a good look for Lamoureux, who has 12 points, second on the Fairfield side.
And how about Brown came from the opposite side of the lane to try and grab the offensive rebound. We have a ball game, Jeff.
We sure do. 4-point game down the stretch in the third quarter. Nothing's easy in March. Langen kicks to Kaz. And Kaz makes a bad pass. Not on the same page with Molly Lynch. And 6th turnover for Mariana Kaz. She's been asked to do so much in this basketball game. A costly giveaway there.
And she hits her chest, my bad, my bad. As soon as it left her hands, she knew, oh, I didn't want to make that pass.
Fairfield's got the last shot of the quarter if they want it.
I expect them to use some clock, get her across the timeline. Coach Carley's calling a play from the bench.
Kaz on Brown at 30 feet. Lamoureux from 28. Schiffer's got the rebound. And that ball went out of bounds. It was last touched by Fairfield. So 0.4 seconds left in the third quarter.
And the Stags are uncharacteristically shooting 18% from the three. And they've been solid in the long ball all season long. I think that's why one large reason why the score is so close.
The Bronx hanging around through 30 minutes. They trail by 4. Ryder outscores Fairfield 17-12 in the third, but Janelle Brown making plays to keep her team in front. How about Mariana Kaz getting it done on both ends of the floor? Lamoureux with 12 points for the Stags. We got a good one here on the boardwalk.
Welcome back to MAAC basketball on ESPN Plus as the top-seeded Fairfield Stags currently have a 40-36 lead over Rider. But it's impressive for the Bronx to still be in this game at a very small deficit, as in the regular season they lost by a combined almost 26 points on average against the Stags. And in times like this, you have to go to your go-to players, and Taylor Langdon has her leadership ability really flourishing right now when they need her most.
They sure do, Griffin. I think we're learning that Rider is a second-half team. They shot 56% in the third quarter today. Yesterday, as they turned around an 8-point deficit against Iona, they shot 67% in the second half, making shots in crunch time.
And sticking to their game plan. They wanted to put different looks to the Stags, and they stick with it and making it difficult for the Stags to score.
Oh, great D by the freshman Carly Fisher as Selimovic rebounds on the weak side. Fairfield has continued to struggle all game long. Outside shots not falling, just 18% from three, 4 of 22. This for a team that usually lights it up on the perimeter.
And their open looks are just not falling today.
Selimovic, Magruder, this is a long three. Missed everything. Fairfield, a team that averages 8.9 three-pointers per game. It's 12th most in the nation. They've hit 263 threes this season, obliterating their previous program record of 192 set in 2012.
Well, credit the Bronx. I think the Bronx have stuck with their defensive plan. They've closed out. They've stayed in balance. And they've been able to go to the glass.
Redmond gets a great screen from Kaz, and will go to the line for a pair.
And Redmond showed her offensive prowess here yesterday, got very, very comfortable, and gave the Bronx offense when they really, really needed it. Trying to do the same this afternoon.
Third foul on Nicole Gallagher. It was a season-high 13 points for Redmond yesterday, made 6 of 9 shots, 4 boards, 4 dimes, a couple of steals as well.
Comfortable in Atlantic City.
Redmond goes 1 out of 2, and it's a one-possession game again.
Bronx extend their defense, throwing different looks at the Stags, try to keep them on their heels, unbalanced.
Here's Magruder for 3. Offensive board for Fisher. But then an offensive foul gives possession back to Ryder.
A little bit, I think, of a frustration foul. Tried to get an open lane to the basket, got closed off, extended her elbow.
First foul on Fisher, second team foul. Meg Anderson coming back in. Molly Lynch a little worse for wear as she heads to the bench.
And Anderson has the ability to light it up quickly, so I'm sure Coach Cartley is looking for her to get some offense going out here for the Stags.
Yeah, after Fairfield scored just 7 points in the first quarter, it was a couple of Meg Anderson threes. They got their offense on track in the second. Schiffer to tie the game. Rebound Gallagher.
And the Rider faithful were on their heels on that shot.
Brown finds Anderson. And there's Fireball. Fairfield getting great looks. Schiffer waits for 2 defenders to clear, but misses the floater.
Missed opportunity for the Bronx.
Maybe Jess Schiffer should have thought better of that and run some half-court offense.
Where do the Stags look to get their points? Janelle Brown takes the first crack at it.
And you can see some frustration on the face of Brown as that ball hits the back of the basket and pops out to Ryder. Schiffer. We got a brand new ball game on the boardwalk.
And there was silence when that ball left her hands. And as soon as it hit the net, you saw the Ryder Bronx fans up waving their crowd.
40 all with 7 minutes to go. Fairfield struggling, 0 of 4 in the fourth quarter. Brown bumped by Kaz, and that's 4 on Mariana Kaz.
Smart play by Brown. She knows she's guarded by Kaz. Gets first. There's Sheffer with a three that ties the game, and Boardwalk Hall erupts.
Third three of the game for Schiffer. All 9 of her points coming from outside the arc. None bigger than the last 3. But Kaz must depart with 4 fourth quarter fouls. So freshman Kaylin DeVinny takes her spot. And these are huge minutes for DeVinny.
And how long will Coach Milligan keep Kaz on the bench?
Magruder on the take. Lost it in the lane because she got fouled. And Magruder takes a hard tumble.
And Sheffer gets called for the foul. Grabbed on the drive.
Third foul on Schiffer. Have another look.
Drives the paint. Tries to disrupt the play. Didn't move her feet quickly enough in the eyes of the official.
Good to see Magruder up. She's okay and able to remain in the ball game. Fisher. Great move on DeVinny. 2 more for Fisher. That's a great inbounds play.
Well executed by Fisher. She needed just a little space, kissed it off the glass.
Fisher had a career high 16 points in 14 minutes against Ryder last Saturday. Stags by a pair.
Langdon wanted the ball. She was free underneath. Sheffer missed her.
Anderson had it for a moment. But it stays with Ryder as Fairfields couldn't keep it in play. Sophie Brunches in off the Ryder bench, replacing DeVinny.
Coach Milligan calls the play from the bench.
5 to Fire. Anderson checks it away from Fireball. It's into the backcourt and the shot clock expires.
And
That's
Fireball,
a great defensive play by Meg Anderson.
Fireball a little disappointed. Didn't see Anderson. Anderson was able to disrupt the play. Little poke at the ball. And Anderson, with her long arms, was able to corral it. Shot clock expires.
All right, the lid came off the basket for Fairfield in the 4th on their last possession when Carly Fisher dropped in a layup off the baseline out of bounds. What will Janelle Brown do? She'll get it to Magruder. And again, Fairfield can't get one to fall from outside the arc. Brown slows up Redmond. Langen, Ryder's leading scorer with 12. 9 big ones from Schiffer.
How about Redmond being able to control the ball with Brown chasing her full court?
The Ryder reset. Redmond to the rim. Rebound Anderson. Brown to Anderson, an easy layup. What a dime by Nellie Brown.
Little head fake, told Anderson to go to the basket. I'll deliver, and she does. Easy basket for Anderson.
3 dimes for Janelle Brown. Her last 2 leading to big 4th quarter field goals. The MAAC Player of the Year, setting up the Rookie of the Year to put Fairfield up 4. That was your Hercules Tires strong move of the game. Taylor Langen getting an and one for Ryder in the second half. She's got 12 to lead the Bronx.
Comes across the lane, goes up strong, gets an N1.
Critical possession for Ryder, down by 4, inside 5 minutes to go in the fourth quarter.
Shot clock winding down.
Lamoureux gets the steal.
And a foul on Langdon.
It's her fourth.
Not what Coach Milligan wanted. But credit the Stag defense. They smothered her as soon as she caught. Lamoureux is on her. Good hands by Lamoureux. No foul. Was able to grab the ball.
Again, the Fairfield offense gets all the headlines, but really the last 2 seasons under Carly Thibault-Dudanis, they have hung their hat on the defensive end of the floor.
Quick hands in pursuit of the basketball.
Ryder's 19th turnover. Anderson posting up Redmond. Now it's Selimovic going to work on the block, and Selimovic scores.
With heavy defense on her, she was able to find a little window on the glass and put it in.
6 straight points in the paint for Fairfield after Ryder tied the score. Fireball, long 2. And Gallagher taps it to Selimovic.
Defensive rebounding has been a key for the Stags in this stretch.
Ryder gave Fairfield a punch. The regular season champions have had a response. The cutter, Selimovic, back-to-back buckets.
And that's the connection that Coach Thibault always talks about. She said this team is so well connected. It's not a play that's run, they're reads of each other.
Fireball called for an offensive foul. Selimovic getting the ball back for her squad.
She's come to play. She knows, hey, we don't want to go home too early from Boardwalk Hall. We want to play again.
It's what she's done all year long. The interconference transfer, played the last 2 seasons at Siena. Sliding over to Fairfield and making play after play here in the fourth quarter. Brown turns on the Jets and floats it in.
And a little late getting up. It looks like she fell on the same spot that she hurt in the third quarter.
Yeah, Brown down as Ryder races inside. Janelle Brown hobbled. She's got to come out of the game, replaced by Kendall Magruder. The Bronx lose the basketball. And Fairfield has a chance to extend this 10-0 run. It started on the defensive end. Ryder hasn't scored in 3 minutes and 53 seconds since the Jess Schiffer 3 tied the game. And Fairfield has made their last 4 shots all around the ring. Kaz jumps the pass. Lamoureux races back into the fray. Kaz hangs with it and scores 2.
And how about Kaz being able to let Lamoureux go by her, control the ball, and kiss it off the glass?
Mariana Kaz playing with 4 fouls. Big bucket to turn the tide. Selimovic in attack mode. Timeout. Carly Thibault-Dudanis.
Coach Carly wants to talk it over with the Stags, set up a play to get him a bucket. And how about Kaz coming down the floor, presence of mind, grabs the ball, puts it up. Easy 2.
She's got 7 points and 5 boards, trying to keep her team in the ball game. Fairfield with shots not falling from the perimeter. 4 of 27 on the afternoon. Getting the basketball down low and rattling off 10 of the game's last 12.
And Katie Lamoureux at that time really, I think, takes control. And when she's playing with Brown, and now Anderson comes alive, they have so many weapons that they can throw at you. But I thought when Kaz sat on the bench for the Ryder Bronx, that's when Fairfield was able to close the gap.
Great teams find a way. This one has not gone according to script for the Fairfield Stags. We've mentioned their struggles from 3. 10 assists on their 21 made field goals. Few teams in America have a better assisted basket percentage than the Fairfield Stags, but that hasn't been there as well. All the different defenses that Ryder has thrown at Fairfield have really disrupted the offense, but the regular season champions digging deep leading by 8 with 2.5 to go. Costly turnover out of the timeout. Every possession critical for the upset-minded Bronx.
Look for the ball to go inside to Langdon.
Well, Langdon and Magruder tripped over each other. That's a foul on Kendall Magruder, and now she's got 4.
And Coach Milligan wanted to make sure that the officials saw the foul. Ball goes to the Bronx.
So Magruder departs, replaced by Nicole Gallagher.
Bronx set up 4 cross on the baseline. Brings in their 3-point shooting specialist. Sheffer comes in.
Late change for Ryder. Fireball out. Schiffer in.
The Schiffer's that catch and shoot 3-ball scorer.
It's the leading scorer, Langen. Great look on the baseline. Redmond finishes it. Good time for Sanaa Redmond's first field goal.
Good read by Langman to give her the ball underneath.
Nicoletti Leite. Pass tipped by Schiffer. Shot clock's at 5. Lamoureux recognizes, loses the handle. Nicoletti Leite got it off, but it didn't hit the rim. Bronx basketball down by 6.
And uncharacteristic for the Stags, a 30-second shot clock violation, but credit the Bronx defense. They were able to step in the passing lane, disrupt the passing of the Stags.
Fairfield really missing Janelle Brown on the floor, who went out a moment ago. She has raced to the scorer's table to check back in. Schiffer, 3-ball. Offensive board for Kaz, and she's fouled. It's the 4th on Fairfield. Personals assessed to Isabella Nicoletti Leite, her first.
And Kaz, I think the ball finds Kaz out here. You know, every time a ball is loose on the floor or it's in the air on rebounding situations, she finds a way to go grab it.
Janelle Brown back on the court for Fairfield. She's got the mark on Redmond. Screen from Langen. Schiffer pulls up and scores double digits for the senior Schiffer.
A little floater over the front rim.
It's a 4-point game inside a minute to go. Brown, what a screen from Anderson.
No whistle.
Lamoureux in the paint.
And how about Lamoureux? Lost the handle for a second, regrouped, kissed it off the glass.
14 points for the freshman. None bigger than those two for Katie Lamoureux.
And the Bronx have to speed it up on the offensive end. They've got to get a look here to keep the game alive.
Kaz muscles it up. Anderson with the rebound. Bronx tie up the basketball. It's Fairfield's on the alternating possession. How about this fourth quarter answer for the Fairfield Stags? Schiffer makes a 3, ties the game at 40, and Fairfield has only missed 1 shot since.
And they've shared the basketball. It hasn't been a one-person show. They ran their signature offense. They make the right read, and they take it strong to the hole because their three-point ball wasn't going today.
It's how it has to be in March sometimes. It's trite this time of year, but people like us, Diane, will often throw around the phrase survive and advance, and that's what Fairfield is trying to do against a game right her side.
And it's also called March Madness because that's what we're seeing today. If you are a betting person in Atlantic City, you would not have thought the game would be this close, but credit the Bronx defensive schemes, but Fairfield still has enough to put them over the top.
And as it's been all year long, It's the depth. Yes, the player of the year, Janelle Brown, leading the way with 16 points, but Lamoureux's got 14 and 7. Anderson with 10 and 8. And Amina Salimovic has made some huge plays here in the fourth quarter.
She's made some huge defensive plays. Drew 2 charges, stifled the Bronx offense when they needed a shot.
Ryder commits the foul, sends Lamoureux to the line as that's their 5th. Schiffer's 4th personal. Give a lot of credit to the Ryder game plan. Lynn Milligan said the entire playbook was an option this afternoon. She threw the kitchen sink at Fairfield.
And they weren't in fear of the deer. You know, a lot of times when you play a team that's ranked in the top 25, you get a little hesitant, you get a little nervous, but they came out here well prepared, executed. Stags just had a little too much more.
Fairfield on the verge of winning their 27th consecutive game. That will tie the MAAC all-time record set by Marist in 2011.
What a Cinderella season for the Stags. And they've embraced it. They haven't feared it. And as Coach Carly and her staff have said, it's game by game. Never get too ahead of themselves. Stay in the moment and stay with what brought them here, team basketball.
Carly Thibault-Dudonis tells the story of when she thought her team might be able to do something special this season, saying that it happened immediately after their only loss of the year. It took place in mid-November at Vanderbilt. Fairfield went toe-to-toe with an SEC team that turned out to be pretty good. Shea Ralph had the Commodores playing great basketball. She said after that game, her locker room was not happy with the fact that they hung around against an SEC team on the road. No, that locker room felt that they let a win slip away, thought that they should have won that game. And that's the moment where Carly Thibault-Dudonis thought, this group might have something, and ever since, Diane, they've proved it night in and night out.
Well, Coach Carly Thibault-Dudonis injected that kind of culture when she came to Fairfield. You know, she wanted to be sure that she coaches the total person. You know, she cares about them, they care about her. It is a real team, family-oriented basketball program, and that plays out on the floor. They don't care who's scoring the points. They don't care who's rebounding. They don't care about the time. All they care about is the W.
You know, they say in times of struggle, you don't rise to the level of your potential, but you sink to the level of your training. This is an extremely well-schooled, intentionally built Fairfield team that, Diane, no question, did not play their best basketball game this afternoon, but has found a way. Fireball trying to keep her team alive. She sticks the 3, and all of a sudden it's a 4-point game again.
Well, Fireball has been known to be a backbreaker to her opponents. She can nail that shot from the outside, came off a good screen, and was able to connect.
First 3 of the tournament for Michaela Fireball. Again, a back injury keeping her out of the regular season finale at Fairfield. She has not been 100%. But, hey, it's a senior in March. Of course she's going to take that shot.
And the Bronx know they're doing something special out here. They weren't in fear of the Stags. They don't want this game to end. All business coming out of the huddle for the Stags.
Fairfield's best facilitator, Isabella Nicoletti-Leite, will inbound the basketball. Good find for Janelle Brown. A lot of time ticking away. And finally, Langen fouls Lamoureux. That will end Taylor Langen's afternoon as she picks up her 5th. Oh, check that. It's Schiffer on the personal, but it ends Schiffer's ball game. 5 on Schiffer.
And Coach Thibault made some different adjustments in the lineup. My guess is that she has all the best free throw shooters on the floor, knowing that the Ryder Bronx will run a foul to keep the game alive.
– 15 points for Lamoureux, 3 of 7 at the line. Stags back up 6.
Solid game here on Boardwalk Hall. Don't have a lot of time.
Redmond puts it up. She gets it to go, but too little, too late. Anderson inbounds to Lamoureux, and Fairfield will have to wait another second to punch their ticket to the semifinals. A couple more free throws on the way for a talented freshman guard.
And kudos to the Rider Bronx. They came in here fearless, executed a solid game plan, but the Stags are not ready to go home. They are enjoying the season. They wanted to extend well into March. March Madness, here we come.
17 big points for Katie Lamoureux. She got off to a hot start this season, and then how often happens, Di got scouted, went through a cold stretch, and tip of the cap to Katie Lamoureux, found a way to reinvent herself at the Division I level, and has been playing great basketball down the stretch in February and March.
And she's a good defensive player. I think she puts a lot of pressure on the opposition's point guard. She gets low. And Nat out here, she pokes at the basketball. And when you see defensive steals, Lamoureux is usually one part of it.
And you see the emotion on the face of senior Molly Lynch as she checks out.
And you see the hug of Coach Milligan and Lynch. And it's hard. When you are a senior and you walk off that floor for the last time, so much of your life has been played out on this basketball court.
Fairfield finds a way. The MAAC's top seed beats Rider in the quarterfinal round. 57-51, the final. 27 wins in a row for the Stags to tie the MAAC all-time record.
And now when they take the floor, they have now played one game of this year's tournament out here. They will be more comfortable. They will be ready. No more sitting in the stands. It's go time for the Stags.
It wasn't the way we expected it to go. Fairfield struggles from the perimeter, makes just 4 of 28 threes. Only 11 assists on their 22 made baskets. But as championship teams do, they got it done in crunch time.
And they had to find different ways to score today. Their 3-ball was absent, so they had to get putbacks. They had to get transition points. They had to get points in the paint. And no matter who was on the floor, they had one thing in mind. They had to get over the offensive hump.
And with their back against the wall after Rider tied the game at 40 following a Jessica Schiffer 3, Fairfield made 5 of their last 6 field goals to close the show. Carly Thibault-Dudanis is with Griffin Della Penna. Griffin.
Coach, Rider may just sweat it out a little bit there. What did they do different in this matchup in comparison to the regular season?
No, I thought they were incredibly well coached. They're a great team, and obviously they got healthy. They weren't healthy the last time we played them. And Fireball makes a huge difference. They made us pay defensively. They did a great job as far as us being able to move the ball. They kind of forced us into some tough twos, and I thought we kind of fell into that trap a little bit.
How about the play of your freshmen, their first postseason game, to come up in the clutch in the ways that they did? What can you say about their performances?
That's what they've done all year long, and they've been steady and solid for us since day one. And so obviously Lammy hit some big free throws down the stretch. Meg hit some early shots to kind of give us a little bit of breathing room, but we expect that from them. They don't play like freshmen. As after you say, after halfway through, you're not freshmen anymore.
No doubt. We'll see you tomorrow, Coach. Now we're going to bring in our player of the game, Janelle. Janelle, first we got to ask, you took a pretty hard fall over here. I know you're getting stretched out too. How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling good. I'm waiting on who's next, so I'm ready. I'm really hyped right now.
Even though Rider made you guys sweat it out a little bit there, you still came in when it mattered most. How is this group so poised now with 27 straight wins this season?
I mean, it's like whenever we come across adversity, it's like who's next up? Who can really perform? So I feel like Rider had a great game. They're a great team, coached by a great coach. And I think that we really just stuck together. We knew what we had to do, so that's exactly what we did. We just played sad basketball.
A very fun team to watch. We'll see you advance. Congrats on the win.
All right, Griffin, so Nellie asked, we'll answer. Who's next up for the Fairfield Stags? They await the winner of Manhattan Canisius in the 4-5 game, which will tip tomorrow at 3:30 p.m.
And they have their tournament jitters off. I expect them to have their 3-ball on. It's going to be a good game.
Fairfield beats Ryder in the first MAAC quarterfinal, 57-51, the final. That's all from here inside historic Boardwalk Hall. We remind you that all games airing on the ESPN family of networks are streaming live and archived on the ESPN app. For our producer, Mark Fratto, my broadcast partners, Diane Nolan and Griffin Della Penna, my name is Jeff Brault saying so long from the Boardwalk. Fairfield moving on in March. Quinnipiac and Niagara up next here on ESPN.
water.
Yeah, totally
It's a good deal.
good.
It's a good deal.
That was very fair.
We're not plugging it in yet. We gotta try and fix whatever was going on first.
That's on all of it?
Yeah.
Okay, Morseman. I hear you. Yeah, I mean, I hear you. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think I sound loud to myself. Like, I'm peaking to myself right now. What was that? Sorry, I played with things. Yeah. No, don't turn the whole aux down because I don't want you any quieter. Yeah, I'm... Yep, that sounds better to me. I also have, talent right here if we want to throw them on really quickly, if that's preferable. Yeah. Give Rez a second. He's talking to Niagara.
Hey,
SID.
guys. Yep, I hear you.
Okay, well, yeah, you got me and Adona for now because, yeah, he's talking to SID. Yeah, you sound fine. Dude, I think it's that trigger, though. I have a feeling it's not always triggering. Yes. Just count numbers every time you turn it on. Just go 1, turn it off. 2, turn it on. 3, turn it on. 4, turn... You've been solid. I've heard every number so far. That's 10 straight. That's 10 straight times I've heard you. I mean, you just got... You're cranking a little there, but that was fine. Yeah, dude. Okay. That wasn't great. No, you're breaking up a ton right there. I lost you. Super broken up. Super broken up. No, dude, you're super broken up. I am not hearing you right now. Like, I can hear I don't know if Nate's also. I think that it's getting. Okay, well, then we'll flip this over to talk, and then I'll come back down after open.
If something is bussin'.
What is it? Bussin'?